What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today you join me on a beautiful winter's afternoon. Lovely sun. Oh man, it's been so long since we have some like proper weather. I feel like it's been rain and cloudy and horrible. So today I'm going to show you around the all-new BMW M135. They've dropped the I because I is now the indicator of electric cars, so i4, i5, etc. Petrol cars are now just called M135 or 120, etc. So, with that out of the way, let's have a look at the all-new M135. I'll show you the exterior, the updated interior, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. So, this is the F70 generation. And we already drove the 120, which I thought was not a bad car per se. I don't think it's a very good looking car. It reminds me of a Kia Ceed. It also reminds me of a fish in distress, as I said in the 120. Like this mouth is kind of weird. I think design-wise, it's not a very attractive car. It looks a bit strange to me. I do feel like the M part of it all, so the more aggressive front bumper, the black M kidney grille, and all the other black stuff and M stuff on the car, it does improve the look of the car. It does look a little bit more serious than the 120, which means that it seems a little bit less helpless. So on this car we get a lot of black accents, like in the front bumper, the grille. You get the new BMW LED lights with the new daytime running lights, the LEDs there. Yeah, it's a very generic looking car, I think. It doesn't scream BMW, which is a shame because the F20, legendary F20 1 Series kind of did scream BMW, and it was like a proper BMW recipe, proper BMW design, and I feel like they're kind of losing it. I don't know how to describe it. I think they lost their touch a little bit, especially design-wise. So yeah, I hope that they will be back soon. However, let's judge the car on the most important stuff, which is how does it drive, what is it like to live with, how does it feel, stuff like that. Important stuff. Okay, so spec-wise, we've got this Thunder Night metallic purple. Really cool color. I love it. I think it's just super cool. I wish that more people would spec cars like this. We've got, combined with that, the 977 M wheels. This is a 19-inch with a 235 Goodyear Eagle F1 tire, and behind that we've got the optional M compound brakes with ventilated discs and grey calipers with M3 brake pads, because there's something called the M Sport Package Pro, which gives you a lot of options and a lot of extras and black stuff and stuff like that. But you also have an M Dynamic pack or something like that. It varies depending on the market, on the country, what it's called, but it includes a couple of things: stiffer suspension, bigger brakes, and forged 19-inch wheels. Now we don't have those forged wheels, I don't think, but I think you can get them in the Netherlands. So I saw another 19-inch wheel, which was quite a bit more expensive than this one. And I think that is the 19-inch forged wheel. It's always kind of difficult to figure this stuff out. But I really do like that they wanted to make the car a little bit more fun than the F40, the previous one, which was a bit underwhelming in that respect. So I do like that. It's a shame we don't have the forged wheels, but maybe we'll see them on another car in the future. But the brakes at least are very good. Very sporty tire as well. Black mirror caps, black window surrounds, privacy glass. Of course, we've got the indicator here for the 1 Series now, which I think all BMWs get that nowadays. And then at the rear, we've got a very busy rear end. I don't really particularly like the rear light design. I think it's a bit weird and clunky, and it doesn't really fit the car. I think the rear in general is good looking. Yeah, I don't know if this quad exhaust is particularly necessary, because yeah, it doesn't really produce any sound, unfortunately. But I do, aesthetically speaking, I think this is a successful design, apart from the rear lights. And it also, you know, this like 3/4 rear I quite like that. I think there is a handsome car in here. There's a handsome car to be found somewhere. They just didn't manage to find it, and that is a shame. So we've got an electric tailgate with proper luggage space, because now we're getting to the things that are actually reasons to buy this car. It's very practical. You have serious rear space for passengers. Of course, when they moved from the 6-cylinder to the 4-cylinder, yeah, we all started crying. But also because you have this transversely placed 4-cylinder, you gain a lot of interior space. It's lighter in the nose, even though it's a very heavy car. I don't know how they have been able to get it to be this heavy, but the weight on the BMW website is 1625 kilos, which is just ridiculous. That's like as much as an M340i sedan. It's crazy. I don't understand it at all. I hope that it's a mistake. So as I said, when they went from the F20 to the F40, they ditched the 6-cylinder in favor of this new setup with the 4-cylinder, and also with a 4-wheel drive system that is front biased. So it's basically a front wheel drive car with some rear assistance. It's a B48 modular 4-cylinder, so that means that BMW has different engines: B38, B48, B58. The B38 is the 1.5 3-cylinder, the B48 is this 2-liter 4-cylinder, and then the B58 3-liter inline 6. Again, I'm sticking with this theme. There's a good engine in here. There's a great engine in here. I feel like it's been squeezed so much to be able to pass EU regulations that it just, yeah, they squeezed all the character out of it. When we first drove the new B48 in the 330i G20, the 3 Series, we were just blown away by how good it was, and it sounded pretty good, and it just felt like torquey and powerful, and just a really great, very flexible, elastic engine. This is none of those. It's very effective, but it also lost a bit of power because of EU regulations. So we're at 300 horsepower now instead of 306, but also we lost 50 newton meters. So went from 450 to 400 for the new F70 compared to the F40. So yeah, this is not its strong suit. Does it have a strong suit? It does. So the strong suit is not on the outside, it's on the inside. Now, I'm not a big fan per se of this design and of this layout. The curved dual display and the massive steering wheel with this cheapy plastic trim. It's not great. We don't have an iDrive controller anymore. We don't have a gear lever. We don't have a manual mode anymore. So you have sport and then you can use the pedals. Then you basically go into manual mode, but there's no dedicated manual mode anymore. Where do I find the strong suit? It is just in the build quality and the materials. If you compare this to a VW Golf R, which is a very good, very capable car, but I do think that this, material wise, it all just feels a bit more premium. It doesn't feel as premium as before with BMW, I have to say. It's some things just feel very cheap, like the window switches and some of the plastics down here. But it's less annoying in a 1 Series than it is in a 5 Series, which has the same switchgear, and it just feels too cheap. So I think the strong suit of this car is the fact that it does feel a bit more premium than those competitors. And it also feels solid. When you drive it, it feels good. So we've got a new 7-speed DCT double clutch gearbox instead of the old regular automatic, and that's basically the biggest change. The engine is the same as before, as I said, but with a little less power. We've got a little roof here. Yeah, it's a spacious car. It feels grown up. We've got great sport seats as well, with very good support, leather and Alcantara, and yeah, just seating position is good. Those things are all a-okay. Sound is, well, basically absent. It just sounds like a 4-cylinder. And there's some sound being pumped through the cabin from the speakers. And I even think the little pops are coming from the speakers. Yeah, so here's the twist, okay? Here's where I'm going to change my tone, because I think I'm judging this car the wrong way. I'm judging it based on my idea of what a hot hatch should be. But that idea is basically extinct. It basically doesn't exist anymore. What people want nowadays from a hot hatch is something that can do this in these conditions, just pull out of, you know, a 90-degree corner when it's, well, slightly damp. Ooh, big bird. Did you see that? That was cool. Yeah, with 4-wheel drive, just a quick gearbox, automatic. They don't care if it's a manual front-wheel drive anymore. That's something that we dinosaurs like. But if you look at this car as a fast daily, that's launch control. I mean, yeah, it just grips. 0 to 100, 4.9 seconds. I did 4.86 in these conditions, so that's pretty good. It is a 10th slower than the previous one, but that is because you have a little bit less power and torque. But as a fast hatchback that you use every day, that you drive from and to work on your holidays, in winter, rain, sunshine, whatever, it's quite a good car. And it sort of pains me to say that, because I wish that it would be more. I wish that they would have been able to give us something of an edge, but it's just not there. Has it been improved compared to the last one? Yeah, I think it handles a little bit better. It's a little bit sharper. It responds a little bit more direct. So it's not a bad car. It's just, it's not very fun to drive. It's just, it's a Golf R from BMW. That's what it is. And on one hand, that's a shame, because, you know, Golf R and an S3, they're already very good at that. You know, on the other hand, is it a bad car? No, it's not a particularly bad car. It's actually quite enjoyable when you drive it at like 80% through traffic, or on a B road, or on the Autobahn, where I'm going to take you right now. You know, it's actually, it's a pretty nice car. As I said, it feels grown up, so it feels a little bit larger than it actually is. It's also, you know, a bit heavier than it should be, but it's a strange thing to, you know, I have to take this into account reviewing this car, that it's not, they're not trying to build what I think they should build. So I shouldn't judge it based on that, if that makes any sense, right? So it's not a hot hatch. The hot hatch is almost dead, unfortunately. So we're going to hit the Autobahn, where actually it is pretty impressive. As I said, the suspension feels good. It feels solid. It feels like it can handle bumps at high speed. It's still comfortable for daily driving, but also on the B road it feels quite good. It feels quite sharp and eager to turn in. It has a very typical G series feel of the G series BMW, so like a G20, a G30. That's the feel you get when you drive this car. Top speed is 250 kilometers an hour. We're almost there. Last 5 kilometers, it takes a long time. So I'm going to brake here because this car is going left. There he goes. Brakes, very good. You're starting to hear them now a little bit, but the performance is still there. And the pedal is great. Very, very good. It's well judged. 100 to 200. Also did that. 13.75 is the fastest I've done, which is around the same time as the F40 2019 model, so the first one basically, the pre-facelift. The facelift F40 was a little bit quicker, but yeah, you're losing power, so... But this is what I mean, it's for a 1 Series, for a hatchback like this, 245, it's relatively quiet in here, it's stable, it feels good. It's happy doing this. So this is the top speed, 252, 3, have to brake soon, little bumps, whoop, whoop. It's a good car. Objectively speaking, it's a good car. It is quite expensive though, so yeah, you're paying, you know, good money, but you're also getting, I think, a little bit more car than you used to. With the F20, you know, I love the F20 for its B58, especially in the M140i. But other than that, it wasn't a great car. And I feel like this is actually quite a good car that is let down by its engine and gearbox that are just a little bit void of emotion. There's just, yeah, there's very little going on. It's just an effective way of propelling the car in that direction most of the time. Sometimes you're going that way, but most of the time that way. Okay, so I'm actually racing a Beetle now. I'm not racing, I mean we're going in the same direction at, you know, almost the same speed. It's a Beetle GSR, I think. It's set on the side. I mean, he was basically just as quick. Which tells you enough about the performance. But that is not, it's just a fast daily hatchback. That's what it is. If you expect that much from it, you'll be happy with it. I guarantee. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. M135, not I, it's a different car than it used to be. And as long as you look at it in that light, it's a pretty capable car. So that's my conclusion. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video, this playlist, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.